Good morning, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. We are here because the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is supposed to, in a couple minutes, announce he is resigning. So we're here to bring you live coverage of this. Trudeau has become increasingly unpopular in Canada, so he is going to resign, and there will be a new leader of his party. There is going to be oh, hold on a second. Hold on. There it is. That's live right there. That is live in Ottawa. Hang on. Live, Ottawa, Canada. We are live in Ottawa, waiting for him. Let's see if I can put my headphones on. I'm trying to get my headphones on. Let's see here. Okay. Yes, so Justin Trudeau, a number of, I believe a majority, but definitely a number of members of parliament in his own party have asked him to step aside. So he has lost support in the country and also in his own party. So basically he's resigning as the leader of the Liberal Party, and then the Liberal Party will need to replace him as leader. And they might have to appoint, they might not even have time to do their full replacement process before the next Canadian election. So I believe in Canada there needs to be election before October, but it might be sooner than that. So again, he is resigning as the leader of the Liberal Party. So the Liberal Party will still be the biggest party in Parliament and still control the government there, well, for the time being. Being the biggest party, although they don't have a majority. So anyways, the point is that he's going to no longer be prime minister. There will be another Liberal leader who will be the prime minister until the election, which could be soon, as I understand it. We'll give you more details on this after he speaks. Reuters says Trudeau has been under heavy pressure from Liberal legislators to quit amid polls showing that the Liberal Party will be crushed at the next election. The election must be held by late October, regardless of who the Liberal leader is. CTV, citing a government official, said Trudeau wanted to suspend the work of Parliament until March 24th to allow the Liberals to run a leadership race. Parliament was due to resume on January 27th, and opposition parties had vowed to bring down the government as soon as they could, most likely the end of March. But if Parliament does not return until March 24th, the earliest they could present a non-confidence motion would be sometime in May, says Reuters. So again, CBC News, according to Reuters today, reported that Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will announce in a couple of minutes that he intends to step down as leader of the ruling Liberal Party after 9 years in office, but he will stay in his post until the party chooses a replacement. Okay, so he will stay in his post until the party chooses a replacement, which reportedly will be done by the end of March. A quick thank you. Hold on a second here. I just need to give a quick shout out to our moderators and a thank you. RJ is moderating over there on YouTube. Beth Mythical, thank you. Linda Belk and Larry on X, really quick, see if I have time to thank the other moderators. We'll talk about this after the announcement. We're also covering the Congress certification of the U.S. election today in a little while. LB Prairie Dawn, Idaho Star, Surly Devin, I Got That Fire are moderating on Twitch. And also Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body on Facebook moderating over there. Thank you. Give me 1 second here. And a quick thanks to Baby Blue Sky, Kurt, W9BBW, Marnie, Chris Canada, Quebec City, and Boz for your support. And also for your support on Twitch. Oxytropis, thank you. Again, Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada is resigning. Well, but apparently he's going to stay on until the next leader is chosen, which reportedly will be done by the end of March. AP reports that Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau plans to announce his resignation in the face of rising discontent over his leadership and after the abrupt departure of his finance minister signaled growing turmoil within his government. The official said that Trudeau will stay on as prime minister until a new leader of the Liberal Party is chosen, says AP. It is also not clear when nationwide elections would be held to pick a permanent replacement of the party. I don't know if they'll have time to do that before the next election, overall election in Canada. Trudeau came to power in 2015 after 10 years of Conservative Party rule. He had initially been hailed for returning the country to its liberal past, but the 53-year-old scion of one of Canada's most famous prime ministers became deeply unpopular with voters in recent years over a range of issues, including the soaring cost of food and housing and surging immigration. That's according to Associated Press. So at any moment now, he is supposed to speak. AFP says Trudeau could announce that he is stepping down as the head of the governing Liberal Party, but seek to stay on as a caretaker prime minister while the party chooses a new leader, a process that could take several months. A new party leader would then be tasked with shoring up support for Liberals ahead of a general election that must be held this year. Liberals currently, says AFP, are trailing badly in the polls to the opposition Conservatives and narrowly survived 3 non-confidence votes in Parliament late last year. So any moment now, we are going to see Justin Trudeau try to read some comments here from you guys before he starts. Thanks, by the way, to Cruella, our member, CLDHRT, our member, Lee Russell, our new member. Yeah, thanks, Kostov. This Kostov 2. I think I got to your comment that you just made, Kostov 2, in Twitch already in one of the articles. That the articles are saying that he's going to stay on until they've chosen a new Liberal Party leader to be interim prime minister, which would be done by late March, supposedly, and that, as Reuters said, that CTV said Trudeau wanted to suspend the work of Parliament until March 24th to allow the Liberals to run a leadership race. So the idea is that one of our viewers said, why is he staying on? Why would he stay on till March? So he is prime minister because he's the leader of the Liberal Party, which has almost a majority of seats in the Parliament. That's why he gets to be prime minister. It's not like the president where you directly elect the president in the United States. So it's like more like the UK where you get to be prime minister because you're the leader of your party. So if he steps down, the party needs to choose a new leader to replace him to be prime minister. So it's not like there's a vice prime minister who automatically steps in. So he would, in theory, stay on to be prime minister to give his party time to choose a new prime minister. They'll have to go through some sort of process. Ryan says because we elect parties, not people. That would be the theory. Bex in Wonderland says there currently is no deputy prime minister because the deputy prime minister resigned 2 weeks ago. Is that true? I didn't even know that. But again, you get to be prime minister because you're the leader of the party. Now, what happened here? Everything was good with the audio. Audio seems fine too. Oh, Chrystia Freeland was the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada. Okay. She resigned in December. She was the Deputy Prime Minister for about 4.5 years. And she was also the Minister of Finance. I didn't even realize. I knew she was Minister of Finance, but I didn't realize she was Deputy Prime Minister as well. She resigned on December 16th, 2024. That was a big deal. We're waiting for him to come out. Give me one moment here. Now, some of the reasons he's been, I've seen cited for his unpopularity is the cost of living and housing costs in Canada, immigration, his immigration policy. Those are two I've seen cited. There are others as well. Fagan, our viewer, said COVID policies. Ryan M. thinks it's 100% immigration. Our viewer. Wheelie says not leaving till March as he hopes he can rebuild his image and win another election. I don't think he's going to announce his resignation and then stay on. I don't think that's going to happen. And then be the candidate for the Liberals. Our viewer Naomi Nocturnal thinks it's a great thing. Thanks, Fred Flintstone, for your support. I really appreciate that, Fred Flintstone. Thank you. Okay, 2 minutes. Thanks, Weasel Man, as well. Is that it? Thanks, PZ Papa Zulu, for the gift memberships. No. Anytime now. Here's a little quick summary from you. AP says Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau plans to announce his resignation in the face of rising discontent over his leadership and after the abrupt departure of his finance minister signaled growing turmoil within his government. The official said Trudeau will stay on as Prime Minister until a new leader of the Liberal Party is chosen. A different official said Parliament, which had been due to resume on January 27th, will be suspended until March 24th. The timing will allow for a Liberal Party leadership race. It is not clear when nationwide elections will be held to pick a permanent replacement for the Liberal Party leader. And Canada is supposed to have elections sometime by October, but it could be before then. Trudeau came to power in 2015 after 10 years of Conservative Party rule. The Liberals have been ruling since then, and he had initially been hailed for returning the country to its Liberal past, but the 53-year-old scion of one of Canada's most famous prime ministers became deeply unpopular with voters in recent years over a range of issues. Oh, hold on a second. Here he is. Here he is.
So I thought it might be fun for us to do this again. Bon matin. Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. Mes chers Canadiens, à chaque matin, je me suis réveillé en tant que Premier ministre, inspiré par la résilience, la générosité et la détermination qui nous caractérisent si bien. Je me suis réveillé en tant que Premier ministre, inspiré à chaque jour par la résilience, de servir la générosité dans ce poste. Et la détermination. Pourquoi? Qui nous caractérise depuis 2015 en tant que Canadien. C'est ce qui me motive à chaque jour où j'ai le privilège de servir dans ce poste. C'est pourquoi, en 2015, je me suis battu pour ce pays, pour vous, pour renforcer la classe moyenne. Pourquoi nous nous sommes mobilisés en tant que Canadiens pour se soutenir les uns les autres pendant la pandémie, pour faire progresser la réconciliation, pour défendre le libre-échange sur notre continent, pour notre soutien inébranlable de l'Ukraine et de la démocratie, et pour lutter contre les changements climatiques et préparer l'économie de l'avenir. Nous traversons vraiment un moment critique dans le monde. My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to do it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months. Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. A minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor General that we need a new Senate. And the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. Mes chers amis, comme vous savez, je suis un fighter. Dans mon fort intérieur, je me suis toujours battu parce que je me soucie profondément des Canadiens. Et je serai toujours motivé par ce qui est dans le meilleur intérêt des Canadiens. Et le fait est que malgré tous les efforts déployés pour passer à travers, le Parlement est paralysé depuis des mois, après ce qui a été la plus longue session d'un Parlement minoritaire dans l'histoire de notre pays. C'est pourquoi ce matin, j'ai rencontré la gouverneure générale pour lui faire savoir que nous avions besoin d'une nouvelle session du Parlement. Elle a accédé à ma demande et la Chambre sera donc prorogée jusqu'au 24 mars. Pendant le temps des fêtes, j'ai également eu l'occasion de réfléchir et d'avoir de longues conversations avec ma famille quant à notre avenir. Tout au long de ma carrière, tout le succès que j'ai eu personnellement est dû à leur soutien et à leurs encouragements. Donc hier soir, au souper, j'ai partagé avec mes enfants la décision que je partage avec vous tous aujourd'hui. J'ai l'intention de démissionner de mon poste de chef du Parti libéral du Canada et de Premier ministre une fois que le parti aura choisi son prochain chef à l'issue d'un processus national, rigoureux et compétitif. Hier soir, j'ai demandé au président du parti de commencer les étapes nécessaires. Le pays mérite un choix clair et réel lors des prochaines élections. Il est devenu évident pour moi que si je dois me concentrer sur des batailles internes, je ne peux pas être la meilleure option lors de ces élections. Le Parti libéral du Canada est une institution importante dans l'histoire de notre grand pays et de notre démocratie. Un nouveau premier ministre et chef du parti portera les valeurs et les idées du Parti libéral dans la prochaine élection. J'ai hâte d'observer le déroulement de ce processus dans les mois à venir. Nous avons été élus pour la 3e fois en 2021 pour renforcer l'économie après la pandémie et faire progresser les intérêts du Canada dans un monde complexe. Et c'est exactement ce que je vais continuer à faire, ce que nous allons continuer à faire pour les Canadiens. The Liberal Party of Canada is an important institution in the history of our great country and democracy. A new Prime Minister and leader of the Liberal Party will carry its values and ideals into that next election. I'm excited to see the process unfold in the months ahead. We were elected for the 3rd time in 2021 to strengthen the economy post-pandemic and advance Canada's interests in a complicated world. And that is exactly the job that I and we will continue to do for Canadians. Merci beaucoup, mes amis.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll now go to questions, starting with Laurence Martin, Radio-Canada.
Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. Vous vouliez le faire, ce combat contre Pierre Poilievre. Des batailles internes, il y en a dans votre parti depuis plusieurs mois déjà. Pourquoi est-ce que vous décidez d'abdiquer maintenant? Qu'est-ce qui vous a fait changer d'avis?
Comme vous savez, je ne suis pas quelqu'un qui recule facilement devant un combat, surtout un combat si important pour le parti et pour le pays. Mais je fais ce job parce que l'intérêt des Canadiens et le bien-être de notre pays, de notre démocratie, me tient à cœur. Et c'est devenu clair que je ne peux pas être le chef dans les prochaines élections à cause des batailles internes.
Ensuite,
As you all know, I am a fighter, and I am not someone who backs away from a fight, particularly when a fight is as important as this one is. But I have always been driven by my love for Canada, by my desire to serve Canadians, and by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And Canadians deserve a real choice in the next election. And it has become obvious to me with the internal battles that I cannot be the one to carry the Liberal standard into the next election.
Vous êtes au pouvoir depuis près de 10 ans. Le Canada a changé avec votre gouvernement. S'il y a une réalisation que vous pourriez nommer, dont vous êtes le plus fier, je sais qu'il y en a plusieurs, mais s'il y en a une, et peut-être un regret aussi.
En 2015, on a été élu sur une promesse de travailler pour la classe moyenne dans ce pays. Et c'est ce qu'on a pu faire. On a réduit la pauvreté, on a aidé énormément les familles, on a créé une économie qui fonctionne pour bien plus de monde en se préparant pour un avenir et plus numérique et où les changements climatiques vont avoir un plus grand impact. On a fait énormément de travail avec les Canadiens. Le Canada est meilleur à cause du travail que nous avons tous fait au cours des dernières années. Un regret, je continue à penser que si notre système électoral aurait été changé pour que les gens puissent mettre un premier, un deuxième, un troisième choix sur le bulletin, les partis auraient passé plus de temps à regarder les points qu'ils avaient en commun pour être les deuxième ou troisième choix des voteurs plutôt que de voir la polarisation que nous avions. Mais je ne pouvais pas de façon unilatérale changer notre mode de scrutin dans ce pays.
Next question.
We got elected in 2015 to fight for the middle class, and that's exactly what we've done over the past years. We reduced their taxes, we increased the benefits to families, we made sure the economy was focused on working for everyone and not just a few, and that has changed. That has dropped poverty rates in Canada, that has brought more people into the workforce, that has moved us forward on reconciliation in a way that has deeply improved the opportunities and success of Canadians despite the incredibly difficult times the world is going through right now. There's lots more work to be done, and I know that this party and this country and Canadians will keep doing it. If I have one regret, particularly as we approach this election, well, there are probably many regrets that I will think of, but I do wish that we'd been able to change the way we elect our governments in this country so that people could simply choose a second choice or a third choice on the same ballot, so that parties would spend more time trying to be people's second or third choices, and people would have been looking for things they have in common instead of trying to polarize and divide Canadians against each other. I think in this time, figuring out how to pull together and find common ground remains something that is really important for democracies, but I could not change unilaterally without support of other parties our electoral system. That wouldn't have been responsible.
Prochaine question.
Tonda McCharles, Toronto Star. Prime Minister, up until 3 weeks ago, you were intending to stay, and it seems that the event 3 weeks ago of Ms. Freeland coming out and saying you were firing her as your finance minister was the catalyst that brought us here today. So can you explain your side of what happened there?
Chrystia has been by my side for close to 10 years now. She has been an incredible political partner through just about everything we have done as a government and as a party over the past decade. I had really hoped that she would agree to continue as my Deputy Prime Minister and take on one of the most important files that not just this government but this country is facing, but she chose otherwise. In regards to what actually happened, I am not someone who's in the habit of sharing private conversations. Christia a été depuis presque 10 ans maintenant à mes côtés en tant que partenaire politique essentiel à presque tout ce qu'on a réussi en tant que gouvernement, en tant que parti. J'aurais vraiment souhaité qu'elle choisisse de continuer en tant que ma vice-première ministre et qu'elle prenne un des dossiers les plus importants auxquels les Canadiens et notre gouvernement vont faire face dans les mois à venir, d'ici les prochaines élections. Mais elle n'a pas voulu. Mais par rapport aux détails, je ne suis pas quelqu'un qui partage les détails de conversations privées.
You spoke about the Liberal Party as an institution and the internal battles right now, but I'm wondering if you feel that another leader will have more success than you will at beating Pierre Poilievre in the next campaign.
Pierre Poilievre's vision for this country is not the right one for Canadians. Stopping the fight against climate change doesn't make sense. Backing off on the values and strength in diversity that Canada has always worked to pull itself together on is not the right path for the country. Attacking journalists, the CBC institutions, that's not what Canadians need in this moment. We need an ambitious, optimistic view of the future, and Pierre Poilievre is not offering that. And I look forward to the fight as progressives across this country stand up for the kind of vision for a better country that Canadians have always carried, despite the tremendous pressures around the world to think smaller, to veer towards the hard right, and to be less ambitious for what we can be and do as a country when the world really needs Canada.
That's not an answer, though. Yes or no? Is there another leader that could beat him?
Absolutely.
En français, sur le leader?
Oui.
Non, mais est-ce que vous...
Pierre Poilievre.
En français, s'il vous plaît, merci.
Pierre Poilievre a une vision profondément petite et erronée pour ce pays, si même on accepte qu'il ait une vision, de reculer sur les droits fondamentaux, d'arrêter la défense, la lutte contre les changements climatiques, de ne pas investir dans une économie plus verte, plus inclusive, de toujours chercher des divisions entre les Canadiens plutôt que de rassembler pour faire face à l'avenir de façon optimiste et ambitieuse. C'est pas le bon choix pour les Canadiens. Et j'ai hâte de continuer de faire partie d'un mouvement progressiste qui va envisager un avenir meilleur pour les Canadiens sur l'optimisme et le travail que les Canadiens ont toujours fait pour bâtir un monde meilleur.
Next question.
Hélène Buzetti, les corps d'information. Bonjour, M. Trudeau. Il y a 16 ans, en décembre 2008, Stephen Harper a prorogé le Parlement pour s'éviter un vote de confiance qu'il savait qu'il allait perdre parce que les 3 partis d'opposition allaient voter contre lui. Exactement comme la situation dans laquelle vous vous trouvez aujourd'hui. À l'époque, le chef libéral, Stéphane Dion, avait dit, puis je le cite ici, que c'était une entrave à la Constitution et un affront à la démocratie. Alors, j'aimerais savoir pourquoi ce qui était mauvais pour les conservateurs de Stephen Harper devrait être bon pour les libéraux de Justin Trudeau.
La gouverneure générale, en 2008, avait correctement conclu que la Chambre venait juste d'accorder leur confiance de façon formelle au gouvernement de M. Harper, malgré même une lettre signée qui était un document politique. La voix de la Chambre compte. Or, avant d'arrêter le travail à la Chambre pour les fêtes, On a gagné 3 votes de non-confiance, 3 votes de confiance. Et nous allons devoir retester la confiance de la Chambre dès le mois de mars pour passer les éléments budgétaires nécessaires pour faire fonctionner le gouvernement.
In English, please, sir.
In 2008, the Governor General correctly concluded that because the very last times in the previous weeks that the confidence of the House had been tested, it had passed that confidence test, Stephen Harper continued to have the confidence of the House. And it actually would bear out because as soon as they came back from the prorogation, Stephen Harper won a confidence vote once again. So a political document or political speeches doesn't carry the kind of weight that winning a confidence vote means. But this prorogation will take us only into March, and there will be confidence votes in March in the passing of supply that will allow Parliament to weigh in on confidence in a way that is entirely in keeping with all the principles of democracy and the workings of our strong institutions.
Mais avec respect, M. Trudeau, y a-t-il pas quelque chose un peu antidémocratique de suspendre la possibilité du Parlement d'exprimer sa non-confiance le temps que votre parti se cherche un sauveur? Est-ce qu'il ne devrait pas plutôt juste se référer aux électeurs et de déclencher dès maintenant une élection?
Hélène, je pense que tu as très clairement vu, comme tout le monde dans la galerie de presse parlementaire, à quel point le Parlement ne fonctionne plus depuis plusieurs mois. On est pogné dans une question de privilège, il y a des motions d'obstruction constantes et on a pu très peu accomplir pendant les derniers mois au Parlement. Le Parlement a besoin d'un reset, a besoin de se calmer un peu les pompons pour se remettre au travail pour les Canadiens et pas à faire de la petite politique constante, ce qu'on est en train de voir des conservateurs. Donc, ce reset a 2 éléments. Une prorogation pour que, justement, on recommence avec une fraîche approche au Parlement. Et deuxièmement, oui, le Parti libéral va entamer un leadership parce que je m'attends à ce que si c'est pas moi qui va mener le parti dans les prochaines élections, la polarisation qu'on voit actuellement au Parlement devrait aussi se calmer un petit peu. Les Canadiens ont besoin d'un Parlement qui fonctionne, particulièrement dans ce moment complexe, et ces 2 éléments vont représenter le reset nécessaire pour le Parlement.
En anglais, mais si vous pouvez dire pourquoi pas une élection, vous l'avez pas dit.
The parliamentary press gallery and anyone who's been watching politics closely over the past months will know that Parliament has been entirely seized by obstruction and filibustering and a total lack of productivity over the past few months. We are right now the longest serving minority government in history, and it's time for a reset. It's time for the temperature to come down, for the people to have a fresh start in Parliament, to be able to navigate through these complex times, both domestically and internationally. And the reset that we have is actually 2 parts. One is the prorogation, but the other part is recognizing that removing me from the equation as the leader who will fight the next election for the Liberal Party should also decrease the level of polarization that we're seeing right now in the House and in Canadian politics, and allow people to actually focus on serving Canadians in this House and with their work the way Canadians deserve.
On va prendre une dernière question.
Good morning, Prime Minister. Stephanie Taylor with the National Post. Given, as you just said, there's going to be confidence votes in March, opposition parties have said they are prepared to bring down your government. What kind of chances do you think you are leaving to your successor, given that there will only be mere weeks for them to introduce themselves to Canadians before heading into an election, potentially?
I have a tremendous amount of confidence in both Canadians and in parliamentarians' interest in serving Canadians in the right way. We're in a minority government right now, and there hasn't been an active leadership in a minority government in more than 50 years in this country. And there is always going to be the challenge of having a leadership race while a parliament would face confidence votes in the course of delivering supply to the government. So this is something that we're going to navigate through, but I truly feel that removing the contention around my own continued leadership is an opportunity to bring the temperature down, have a government that will focus on the complex issues that are coming forward in the coming months, while the party gets to have a full national process that brings in people from right across the country and makes a determination about the best person to carry the progressive liberal standard into the next election.
Can you clarify whether ministers who would like to campaign for your job will have to step out of cabinet? And how can the Liberal government be in a position to protect Canadian businesses and Canadians from the threat of tariffs from incoming President Donald Trump when members of the government are going to be focused on who's going to be taking your job?
The government will still, and the cabinet will still be very much focused on doing the job that Canadians elected us to do in 2021, which is fight for their interests, stand up for their well-being, and make sure that they are good and that Canadians are protected and strong. There will be a leadership process and the rules will unfold over the coming weeks. But I can assure you that the tools and the need to stand up for Canadians, to protect Canadians in their interests and continue to fight for the economy is something that everyone in this government will be singularly focused on. Je peux souligner que, évidemment, les règles et les conditions du leadership du Parti libéral vont être discutées dans les semaines à venir. Mais le gouvernement qui a été élu pour protéger les Canadiens et leurs intérêts dans un monde très complexe, qui a été élu le plus récemment en 2021, va continuer ce travail avec un focus et une emphase singulière sur ce qui est dans les intérêts des Canadiens, pendant que le parti fait ce dont il a besoin pour avoir un processus de leadership.
Merci beaucoup. C'est ce qui conclut la conférence de presse d'aujourd'hui.
Merci tout le monde. Merci d'être ici dans une belle journée d'Ottawa. Bonne journée.
All right, that was Prime Minister Trudeau announcing that he is going to resign as Prime Minister. He is Prime Minister because he is the leader of the Liberal Party. So he is resigning as the leader of the Liberal Party. And he says there will be I believe a national, the Liberal Party is going to have an election to choose a new leader. And so he's going to stay on until the new Liberal Party leader is chosen. And then sometime this year, October or before, there will be new national elections in Canada. So we just saw that. Give me one moment real quick here. I want to take some of your comments about that. But Trudeau has announced that he is stepping down as Prime Minister. All right, give me one moment here. I would like to get you. What I'd love to do is when I have a second. Oh, by the way, we're going to be covering, right after this, we're going to be covering the U.S. Congress certifying the election results, the United States presidential election results. So we're going to cover that after this. All right, let me take some comments from you guys. Let me just also do this here. Okay, where does this start? I was going to replay for you guys part of this. Okay. Michael Garcia, our viewer, thinks it's great news for Canadians. How does the election work in Canada? Do you mean I don't know what their process is for choosing a Liberal Party leader. They're going to have an election among the Liberal Party, and then they'll also have a national election. In the national election, you get to be Prime Minister because you're the leader of the party that controls Parliament, basically. So it's like the UK. People don't directly elect the Prime Minister. They vote for their local representative in Parliament. And Justin Trudeau is... the Liberals don't have a majority in Parliament, but they almost do. So with their coalition partners, they do have a majority. So because the Liberals basically are the biggest party in Parliament, that's why Trudeau gets to be Prime Minister. So, but you don't directly elect the Prime Minister. How they'll conduct the election process for the Liberal replacement for him, that I don't know. Oops, hold on a second. Let me do something real quick here. Let me just do this real quick. Here. Let's see. Gemini Rose says, federal is what we call it. And again, you know, the Liberals are way behind in polls right now. I was reading an article last night saying that recent polling suggested that the Conservatives could win like 4 times the amount of seats that the Liberals would have if they had an election today. Right now, let me just to show you what the current balance of power is. And it's expected to be very different when the next election happens. So you can see here, Canada party standings in House of Commons. If you look at the bottom here, so I believe, what are there, 338 seats? Am I getting that right? 153 is the number right now for Liberals and 120 for Conservatives. And is it 338 total? Yeah, 338 total. So for a majority, you would need 170. So they have 153, and they've been working with like the NDP, I believe, which has 25, and the Conservatives have 120. But that's expected to be very different after the next election. The current polling, hold on. I was trying to get you a seat projection. Yeah, so I had seen that Conservatives are expected to get around like 200 seats. Now, that doesn't mean they will, but that would be a solid majority for them. Okay, let me take some more comments from you guys. Maybe we'll just, I might want to show you like this, the very start of his speech again when he announced his resignation. Cliff Fraser says, finally gone. Oh, and you heard he was critical. The Conservative leader in Canada is Pierre Poilievre. And in his speech that Trudeau gave, he was saying that he didn't think that Poilievre is what Canada needs right now. He thought that Poilievre was not strong on climate change and was not properly supportive of diversity, and also, for example, said that under Poilievre, the Conservatives would be attacking journalists and institutions, and he said Canada doesn't need that right now. That's a little something that I know that he said in his speech he just made. Thanks to Don Coven and Lethal Old Fart and Bebop and Rocksteady and PN and DJ Dungeon Master for your support. Justin King, Michael McIsaac, Bud, Corey Hill, Bebop and Rocksteady, MB, and Marshmallow. Also, thanks for your support very much to Constance Price. Thank you, Constance. Let's see here. Why did he resign, says Michelle Batten? Well, I would say the big reason is that he lost the support of his own party and the country. He was a significant number of members of his own party, members of parliament of his own party, were telling him to resign. He is very unpopular in Canada right now, and it's expected that, if he were to run again, all signs were that the Liberals would get soundly defeated in the next election. I don't know if the Liberals changing their leader will help that much, but he had lost popularity in the country and among his own party. You can see here, Canada's Trudeau resigns as Liberal Party leader, spelling end to time and power. Also, the abrupt departure of his finance minister and deputy prime minister, who's also deputy prime minister, signaled growing turmoil within his government. He announced his resignation in the face of rising discontent over his leadership. He said it had become clear to him he cannot be the leader during the next elections due to internal battles. He planned to stay on as prime minister until a new leader of the Liberal Party is chosen. An official familiar with the matter said Parliament, which had been due to resume until January 20, Parliament had been due to resume on January 27th. Will be suspended until March 24th. The timing will allow for a Liberal Party leadership race. And also, let me just show you something else here. Yeah, you can see Canada's Prime Minister Trudeau, says Reuters, says he will step down after a new party leader is named. Trudeau said at a news conference, Parliament will be suspended until March 24th. That means Trudeau will still be Prime Minister on January 20th when U.S. President Trump takes office. Trump has threatened to impose tariffs that would cripple Canada's economy. And also Reuters says Trudeau, 53, took office in November 2015 and won re-election twice, becoming one of Canada's longest-serving prime ministers, but his popularity started dipping 2 years ago amid public anger over high prices and a housing shortage, and his fortunes never recovered. Calls for him to step aside have soared since last month, says Reuters, when he tried to demote Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, one of his closest cabinet allies, after she pushed back against his proposals for more spending. Freeland quit instead. And Reuters says the Conservatives are led by Pierre Poilievre, a career politician who rose to prominence in early 2022 when he supported truck drivers who took over the center of Ottawa as a protest against COVID-19 vaccine mandates. Seize the Day says he hasn't resigned technically. Yeah, he has announced he's going to resign as soon as the Liberals choose a new leader. Who is the new Liberal leader? They have to choose it. They will choose a new Liberal leader. I believe by the end of March, it sounds like. Thank you to Janet Burnett, by the way, for your support. I appreciate it, Janet. Let me also real quick check something here. And again, right after this stream, we're going to cover the Congress certifying the U.S. election results. So we'll go a few minutes longer here. If you're watching on YouTube, you will be taken directly to that broadcast when we end here. And then the way the Washington Post put it here is they said, bowing to pressure from opponents and allies alike, Justin Trudeau, whose championing of progressive politics rocketed him to the international spotlight as Canada's Prime Minister, but who has faced growing headwinds at home, announced he intends to resign as Liberal leader, making way for a new Prime Minister. He was elected in 2015, viewed around the world as a bulwark of the liberal order. He won re-election in 2019 and 2021, but his popularity has cratered over the last year amid a housing shortage and cost of living crisis. Right now, with Liberals trailing the Conservatives by more than 20 points ahead of an election that must be held by October, Trudeau is set to leave the party at the end of his nearly decade-long tenure as Prime Minister, just as he found it, on track for a potentially historic defeat, says the Washington Post. And also, a little background here. The Liberals, say the Washington Post, have lost several special elections last year in what had long been safe seats. Trudeau has walked back parts of his signature domestic policies, the carbon tax, and a plan to dramatically increase immigration. None of the attempts to reverse the slide worked. After nearly a decade in office, many Canadians had tired of him. The number of Liberal lawmakers publicly calling for his resignation grew by the day. All right, I'll take a few more comments here. So again, we don't have a date for the new general election in Canada. I'm sure we'll cover that here. That's got to be held by October. It could be sooner, and it's expected that the Conservatives will win a big victory over the Liberals in that election. Kevin Day says the members of the party elect the leader. Stasha Morgan, our viewer, says it was time he was there too long. Thanks to Flaps15 for your support on Twitch, and also the Sugaro and Tatermong and C50 Pack and Warlord Wolf. Thanks for subscribing. Also, Oxytropus. Hang on here. I wonder if, really quick, hey guys, really quick, I'm thinking of replaying the start of that press conference. What do you think about that? Just like the first 2 or 3 minutes. Let me just show you how Trudeau came out and began real quick, just so you can see it. We had a little audio difficulty right at the start. So I'm just going to show you right when he came out what it looked like. I'm not going to replay the whole thing. We have to move on to the next stream shortly. But let me show you how he began. If I can get this going here. Oopsie. Oh, it may take me a second. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second here. Oh, I'm going to post in the chat the link. Well, let me play this right now. Actually, what I'm going to do right now also is I'm going to post in the chat, guys, the link to the next stream. I already have the next stream posted. And I'm going to post a link to that in the chat, okay? The next stream is the Congress certifies the presidential election results. So I'm posting a link to that right now. And if you're watching on YouTube, you will be taken directly to that next stream. You don't have to do anything. You just sit there on YouTube. When we end this stream, you'll be taken to the next one. Let me just really quick post about that. And then I'll show you how Trudeau started his announcement today. Coming up. That's done. All right, here is how Trudeau began his announcement today. I got it. I think I got it. This opens. Oh, here it is. I found it. I found it. We got to get rid of this. All right, this is the replay from before.
So I thought it might be fun for us to do this again. Bon matin. Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. Mes chers Canadiens, à chaque matin, je me suis réveillé en tant que Premier ministre par la résilience, la génération qui nous caractérise en tant que Canadiens. C'est dans ce poste. C'est pourquoi, pour renforcer la somme mobilisée en tant que soutenir les uns les conciliations inébranlables, l'économie. My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralysed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. Mes chers amis, comme vous...
So there you go. That was the announcement right there. That was the announcement. I'm going to take a few more comments here, and then in a couple minutes, I need to switch over to the next broadcast. All right? Let's see. Let me read a few more comments. Our viewer, James Watt, is happy. Let's see here. Hate Luzin says, is he giving Canada to USA? No, he is not doing that. I don't believe he had the power to do that. The Reginald says, why is he resigning? Because he has lost popularity in the country and in his own party. So we'll have to see who replaces him. Something I also don't know is, I was reading an article that suggested that the person who replaces him as the interim prime minister might not be the same person that runs as the Liberal candidate in the election, although that might sound strange. I'm not sure about that. But again, the Conservatives are favored by a lot in the next election. As TJ Adams says, Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre is the leader of the Conservatives. There is Pierre Poilievre right there on the Wikipedia page. Who very well, sometime this year, might become the next Prime Minister of Canada. Oh, thanks to Unleashed PokeGamer, who says Canada federal election 2025 on or before October 20th, according to Wikipedia. Yeah, and it could be sooner. I'm not sure when it'll be. It's not clear when it'll be. TJ Adams thinks Poilievre is what Canada needs. Thanks to our member Scott462. Oh, also thank you to very much to Delia Polanco for your support. Thank you, Delia. And also Desane Wave for your support on Patreon. Thank you, Desane Wave. 2A Steph says the world is waking up. Oh, I'm sorry. 4 of Hearts says Pierre released a statement on X. Pierre Poilievre released a statement on X. I think I can play this because he is a leader of the Conservative Party. Let's see what Pierre Poilievre says. He is the Conservative Party leader and possibly the next Prime Minister after the election, the next general election in Canada. Let's see what he had to say here. Every Liberal MP and leadership contender supported everything Trudeau did for 9 years, and now they want to trick voters by swapping in another Liberal face to keep ripping off Canadians for another 4 years, just like Justin. The only way to fix what Liberals broke is a carbon tax election to elect common sense Conservatives who will bring home Canada's promise. Here's what Pierre Poilievre said.
Good day. Canadians.
I can't play it because it has music on it. I can't play the music. If you want to watch it, you can go to at Pierre Poilievre on X. There's music under it, so I can't play it with the music. Anyways, sorry about that, but that's the way it is. All right. Our viewer Dan Lampkin says a lot of people didn't like Trudeau even though his heart was in it for Canada, just like Biden's for the US. Now us Canadians will probably get a replacement similar to Trump in Belize. Yippee. That's from Dan Lampkin, our viewer from Canada. Okay. Cyan Doodles says, never PP will be heading more right-wing with that monster. Wow, Cyan Doodles is not a fan of Pierre Poilievre. Squid Biscuit says, I'm sad Trudeau stepped down. I wanted to vote him out and see him lose. So just a little update here. This is from Reuters. Trudeau says he will step down after a new Liberal Party leader named. Trudeau under heavy pressure from Liberal legislators to quit amid polls showing the party will be crushed in the next election, said Parliament will be suspended until March 24th. That means a general election, a national election in Canada, not just for the Liberal Party leader, but for the whole, for all the Parliament seats. A national election in Canada is unlikely to be held before May. And Trudeau will still be Prime Minister when U.S. President-elect Trump, who has threatened tariffs that would cripple Canada's economy, takes office on January 20th. Yeah, if Parliament does not return until March 24th, the earliest they could present a non-confidence motion in the current government, which I believe would lead to a national election, would be sometime in May. So maybe there'll be an election in May, a national election. We'll cover that. AP says, based on the latest polls, Trudeau's chances for success in the upcoming election look slim. In the latest poll by Nanos, the Liberals trail the Conservatives 47% to 21%. But again, they vote for each seat. And the Prime Minister gets to be Prime Minister because their party controls the Parliament with enough seats. AP also points out that the Liberal Party recently suffered upsets in special elections in 2 districts in Toronto and Montreal that it has held for years. No Canadian Prime Minister in more than a century has won 4 straight terms. Oh, thank you, by the way, to the Polish drunk, who says, this is what happens when you punish your people who oppose your politics. Freezing the bank accounts of those truckers during COVID was criminal. I don't remember that specific thing, the Polish drunk, but thank you for your support. I'm just saying I would have to go back and look that up, but I don't think I'm going to right now because soon I have to go to the new stream. So thank you, Polish drunk. Thank you also, Pet Bread. I appreciate that, Pet Bread. A little other interesting quick summary here of some things from AP. Over nearly a decade in power, Trudeau embraced an array of causes favored by his Liberal base. He spoke in favor of immigration at a time when other countries were trying to tighten their borders. He championed diversity and gender equality, appointing a cabinet that was equal parts men and women. He legalized cannabis. His efforts to strike a balance between economic growth and environmental protection were criticized by both the right and left. He levied a tax on carbon emissions and rescued a stalled pipeline expansion project to get more of Alberta's oil to international markets. But I know his energy policy is criticized by some on the right. saying that some conservatives say that his energy policy is too focused on climate change and not enough on improving the economy. All right, I think we're getting close to that time. Let's see here. Don Coven says he also compiled more debt in his term than all other prime ministers combined. That I can't confirm. I'm not saying Don is wrong, but I don't think I'm going to have time. I don't think I'm going to have time to check that right now. Thank you, Don Coven, for writing in and for your support. Oh, thanks, G. Callan, for the gift memberships. I want to take a couple more comments here. Kevin Aikman says, will Justin have to get permission from King Charles to resign as they are part of the Commonwealth? So technically they're part of the Commonwealth, and there's a Governor General in Canada who is technically the representative of King Charles in Canada, but I don't know. I mean, it's basically a ceremonial position from what I understand, and I honestly don't know if he had to get permission from the Governor General to resign his post. I think he said he had to dissolve Parliament, but you can see here the Governor General of Canada is the federal representative of the Canadian monarch, who is currently King Charles III. The King or Queen of Canada is also monarch and head of state of 14 other Commonwealth realms and lives in the United Kingdom. But they still have that technically there. I'm not very familiar with all of this, but as I understand it, it's basically a ceremonial position. But the Canadians in the audience will know way more about that than me. Don says the Governor General is the King's representative in Canada. So I don't know about the permissions. Thank you, Kevin Aikman, for writing in. If we had more time, I would research it, but we got to move on to the next topic in a second. Papa Sierra thinks Justin is the worst. Hey, thanks to Sheba Stein, our member, by the way. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this stream because in about 10 minutes, we're going to have basically a couple of minutes after we end the stream, we got to get right back on the air to cover the U.S. Congress certifying the presidential election results, okay? So I'm going to quickly wrap up this stream. We already have a new stream that's posted. Look, it's already there. Congress certifies election results. We're covering this live. We're going to have live video for you. U.S. Congress counting the electoral votes and certifying the election and certifying Trump as the winner of the election. So presided over by Vice President Harris. So I'm posting a link to that right now in the chat to the next stream. But if you're watching on YouTube, you will automatically be taken there. So let me wrap this up really quick so we can get over there. I really appreciate you joining us. Sorry this was so fast. I wish we had more time, but we got to go over there. So I really appreciate you joining for this live stream, especially all the Canadians who know more than me about Canadian politics. And I appreciate you being here, and thanks for sending in your comments. And I will post updates on my X account at Lookner on X. You can follow me there. But subscribe, follow this channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. We're coming on right after this, just a couple minutes after this, to cover Congress certifying the election results in the U.S. Hey, huge thanks to our moderators, Ruth Krafasi, Roberts May Queen on YouTube, Misunderstood, Beth Mythical, and also all of our other YouTube moderators, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley over there on Facebook, and all of our moderators over there. I hope I'm not missing any of them. Paul Anderson, Ronald Egnor, over on Twitch, Bash and Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, Good Luck Duck, McBritches, Surly Dev, Thanks for, and also on Twitch, thanks Daddy Dino for subscribing. And all of our Twitch moderators, Linda Belk and Larry on X, thanks. Thanks to everybody who donated. That's really nice of you guys. I think I thanked everybody. You're the ones who, your support is what keeps this channel on the air. So thanks for your support. If you ever want to donate to the channel, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. And again, follow me on X, @Lookner, for news updates about everything. And also sign up for, thanks to our Discord moderators, sign up for notifications. We have a notification system that lets you know when we're coming on the air every time. It's free. It works great. The mods will post a link to sign up for the notifications in the chat, and you can also find that link in the Facebook and YouTube description for this broadcast. Okay, I'm wrapping this up real quick. Thanks to our Facebook subscribers, our Twitch subscribers, and our YouTube members. But I'm going to really quickly just end this stream because we got to start the next stream. I'll shout out some of you on the next stream, but we got to get over there in a couple minutes. So it takes me about probably 5 to 10 minutes to start the next stream. Let me wrap this up. Actually, real quick, just to shout out a few of you. A few of our members: Luke Degling, Sunshine in Arizona, Susie Irish, Marissa Pugliese, Tomer Allison, TJ Adams, Seize the Day, Kevin Wheely, and all of our other YouTube members. Our subscribers on Twitch, just to name a few: Daddy Dino, Flaps15, The Sugar-O, Tatermong, Wall Street, Shaggy, Ascertainment, Integrity Farmer Bob, Drunk Canned Cook, Rocky Coast, Woogo, and all of our other subscribers, our Facebook subscribers like Eve Richards and Lou Green and Robert Riel II and Margaret Riley and Kay Lowry Body and Diane Allworth and all of our other subscribers. All right, I'm getting off right now, but in a few minutes we'll start the next stream. It's already posted. If you're watching on YouTube, hang tight. You can just sit there and you'll be transported to the next stream. So that is it for now. I'll see you guys in about 5-10 minutes on the next stream. And thanks for joining us here, and we'll see you very soon on the next stream right here at Agenda Free TV.